The Mac is one of the most influential computers of all time, but it hasn't always been this way. Throughout almost 50 years of innovation, Apple has taken the Macintosh and refined it into a platform that can handle almost any task you throw at it. If you're an Apple nerd, a tech history fan, or even just someone who likes to hear a good story, sit back, relax, and enjoy the history of the Macintosh. Starting with the Apple I. This was Apple's first computer. It was hand-built by Steve Wozniak and sold by Steve Jobs. It was just a circuit board. It didn't come with a case, a keyboard, or a monitor. But it kickstarted Apple. Only about 200 were made, and one recently sold at auction for over $400,000. The Apple II was Apple's first big hit. It had color graphics, a plastic case, and was one of the first computers to include a built-in keyboard and expansion slots. Before this, schools and businesses didn't use computers often, but Apple was set to change that. The Apple Lisa introduced the world to the graphical user interface and the mouse, but it cost more than $30,000 in today's money, so only the biggest companies were able to afford it. Even though it was a failure, its ideas led directly to the Macintosh. The Macintosh is the original Mac, and it's one of the most classic and well-known computers of all time. It launched the personal computing market and introduced the graphical user interface. Before this, using a computer was basically just typing in code. The Macintosh brought computers into the home. But then Apple had the idea to bring them not just into your home, but anywhere you went, with the Macintosh Portable. The only problem was it weighed 16 pounds, cost almost $20,000, and was powered by lead. So it didn't do that well. The Macintosh Classic was a cheaper version of the original Macintosh, and it was insanely popular. If you ever used a computer at school or work in the early 1990s, chances are this was it. The Quadra 700 was the first Mac to introduce many standard features today, including a tower case, virtual memory, and built-in Ethernet. This made it very popular in professional and business environments. The PowerBook 100 set the standard for laptop design. It was designed in a partnership with Apple and Sony, and was compact and affordable, everything the Macintosh Portable wasn't. And hey, it wasn't powered by lead. This laptop kicked off Apple's dominance in personal computing. The Power Macintosh 6100 was flat like a pizza box and designed to fit under your monitor. It was the first use of the PowerPC processor, a new chip architecture designed by Apple, and it laid the groundwork for the powerful computers of the late 1990s. The 20th anniversary of Macintosh was released on Apple's 20th birthday in 1997, and it was more of a design statement than a mainstream product. It cost almost $8,000, but it was delivered to your door by a guy wearing a tuxedo. It's pretty rare to see nowadays. It was almost 2000, and Apple was not doing that well. They needed a product that would make them popular again and make computers fun. This computer was the first one designed by Johnny Ive, who also designed the iPhone, and it made computers pretty fun again and saved the company. The iBook G3 clamshell was pretty weird looking but powerful. It was nicknamed the toilet seat because of its weird curved shape, but it made a massive leap. It was the first laptop to use Wi-Fi, letting you work anywhere without a clunky cable. The Power Mac G4 has a pretty interesting story, and it's my favorite of any of the Macs. It was marketed as a personal supercomputer, and it was so powerful, the US government classified it as a weapon. They had limits on how much computing power could be shipped in and out of the country at once, and this broke those limits. It was just too powerful. It took 4 months to be approved by the government, and you couldn't order one until it was approved. But that raw power made it very popular with creatives and professionals. The Power Mac G5 was the first 64-bit processor Mac, and it was the first one to have a metal exterior instead of plastic, which is a lot cooler. This Mac was fast, powerful, and loud, and it also had a server variant. The MacBook Pro Intel was Apple's first computer to use Intel chips, which made it much more powerful. It was also very popular thanks to its ability to dual boot Mac and Windows, something they don't have anymore. The MacBook Air 1st Gen was Apple's thinnest laptop. It was so thin, Steve Jobs revealed it on stage by sliding it out of an envelope. The design caught on very fast, and has been expanded upon in every Apple laptop since. The late 2013 Mac Pro was an interesting departure from Apple's past design. It was compact and powerful, and cylindrical, but not upgradable. The odd design made cooling difficult, causing overheating issues. It's now known as the trash can, due to its silver exterior and odd shape. I guess Apple thought so far outside of the box that it stopped being a box. The iMac Pro is the most powerful iMac ever, with Xeon processors and workstation-grade specs. This was Apple's first product in a little while that was aimed exclusively at high-end users, and it looked pretty darn cool. The MacBook Air M1 is one of my favorite Apple computers because it's the one I'm making this video on right now. It was the first Mac with a custom Apple-designed processor, and it's very fast, energy efficient, and it has no fans. The final computer on this list, and an honorable mention, it's not technically a Mac, but it uses a Mac chip, so I think it kind of is. It's a hybrid computer VR goggles. It's called a spatial computer, and it's one of the first ones ever made. Whether it revolutionizes computing or not, I'm not sure, but I think this will be the future of Apple. I hope you enjoyed watching this documentary on the history of Macs as much as I enjoyed making it. I'm working on other documentaries like this, so if you don't want to miss out, be sure to subscribe. I'll see you next time.